1 point in football, and they would win. Michael had the ball and ran with all he had to the touchdown line and threw the ball down. Notice he did not cross the touchdown line. He did not go to the end zone, which is defined as a touchdown. He ran to the touchdown line and threw the ball down. Bad news is that isn't a touchdown. That's also, hate to say it, unsportsmanlike conduct on Leukemia Boy. So the author says that he had made a touchdown. Everyone was cheering. They had won the game because apparently as soon as it's tied 36-36, which by the way that means that every point after touchdown was missed by both teams. In fucking high school, come on. Kind of hard to believe. All they had to do was score one more point and they would win. They made it. They had won the game because apparently when it's tied 36-36 and you score a touchdown, that is considered a game breaker and the other team automatically loses. But for Michael, he may have lost his life. They don't know because they didn't have the attention span to find out if he did, but he may have lost his life, according to the story. He fell to the ground trying to catch his breath. Sarah ran up to him, kneeled over him. He was gasping for breath. Everyone was heading to field. Not heading to the field or storming the field, but heading to field. And her dad stood in front. No space in there of them. Dad, back away. Give them a moment, please. That's my daughter's love. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. That's my daughter's love? Nobody would say that. No one. I asked everybody. Nobody would say that. But Michael loves her, and then he says, this is my dream, to win the championship, to be in the big game, to die on this field. Filed. I made history. Your dream was to win a high school football game. You're an idiot. Your dream was to die on a field. And you think you made history. You did. Lots of people have died from leukemia. Lots of people have played football and won games. Especially in high school. There's lots of high schools, lots of high school games, lots of big high school games. So you didn't make history. Sarah leaned down and kissed him, knowing that this is the last time she would ever kiss him, last time she'd ever talk to him. She had so much to say, but no time to say it. How about you should have said that last night when y'all were running around trying to kill him? Yeah, that would have been a good time. Maybe when you were making out with him, or pushing him off, or making out with you. That would have been a good time to tell him all these things you had to get out there, but you couldn't. Whatever. I guess that's what you do. Tell Mom I love her too, I love you, and tell Coach thank you, I love you Michael, I love you so much. He died on the football field that night. She cried for 2 months straight. She was lying on her bed when her dad walked in. Honey, it's been 2 months, please get up. He would want you to have fun and be happy. I know. And Dad says, guess what? They're building a new stadium. Isn't that great, honey? Come on, I want you to be with me before they tear the old one down. Because apparently, I'm confused here. They're tearing the football stadium down at that moment, and they're going to tear it down within the next day. Apparently it's a small football pit. Not quite sure about that one. But yeah, they're tearing down the stadium that your boyfriend died. I mean, the one where Michael won that big game, remember? Yeah, that's a great thing, isn't it? Not so much. I'm not sure Dad would be excited about that, but whatever. Sarah got up and went with her dad to the field. They climbed to the beaches and looked down, and Sarah says, it's like it was just yesterday. He was out there throwing the ball, making that touchdown. I could have sworn he ran the ball in to make the touchdown. Yeah, he ran the ball in to get the touchdown. So, which means he also threw the ball to himself to make that touchdown, which means he did make history because that's an illegal move in football. Nobody knows because, hey, it's Leukemia Boy. He doesn't have to follow the rules. Come on, he's dying. So, whatever. Throwing the ball, making a touchdown. She begins to cry, and she notices something on the field. And she points at the field, and her dad says it looks like some flowers are blooming. Okay. Flowers are blooming in autumn. Actually, after 2 months after the big game of football, 2 months after October would be December. They're out there doing just fine. Blooming. So, yeah, whatever. So her dad wrapped his arms around her and she began to cry. And she says, stop them, don't let them tear us down. Michael planted me something. She's assuming it's Michael. She's assuming it's not a killer that wants her to come back there 2 weeks later to get her throat slit. But she assumes it's Michael. And then her dad runs down there and stops him because apparently the coach is the only opinion that matters when you're tearing down a football stadium, not the permits that you got from the city. They only give you a limited time, apparently in this case only a day, to tear down the stadium. Yeah, coach's opinion matters more than city permits. So he stops him from tearing down the stadium. A few weeks later, the flowers had bloomed. At the time, they were blooming, but a few weeks later they bloomed. So, wait, I'm confused. They were blooming at the time they saw them. A few weeks later, they were blooming. So they bloomed for like 3 weeks straight, and they were lilies left in a message saying, "I love you." And the ending is, if you have any heart at all and love someone this much, repost it. And in parentheses is also if you cried. Okay. Lilies, according to Wikipedia, are a cold weather flower. They bloom in the summer, not in December. They bloom in the summer, and they bloom in the northern areas, although some have been known to go far enough south to be bloomed in marshlands. But they bloom in the summer, and this is a bunch of shit. They have to winter over to store up enough energy to bloom the next season. But according to this writer, lilies bloom in December. I'm not sure if I buy that. But looking past that, if you have any heart at all and love someone this much, repost this. If I have any heart at all, if I had any brains at all, I would have stopped reading halfway through. But my curiosity being the raging monster that it is, I had to read it all the way through because it was so deep. Oh, that hurt saying that, actually. Oh, gosh, it left a bad taste in my mouth. Just repeating this to you is just, literally, bile is welling up in my throat. If you have any heart at all and love someone this much, if you don't have a heart, then you won't repost it. Apparently I don't have a heart, which is bad. Last few times I went to the doctor, they told me my systolic pressure, which is, part of the reading when they look at your heart health. Apparently they read it wrong. It should have been 0 since I don't have a heart, but they said I was healthy. This is pretty much the worst story I've ever read. It was probably written by some 13-year-old or 14-year-old cheerleader who was really bored in fiction class. I'm assuming it was fiction. It might have been English. I hope the teacher gave her an F for her poor spelling and holes in the plot. This is the kind of person that's going to graduate from high school. They are going to they're going to be in love with their football hero, who's not going to make it very far because they go to a 4A school and he's not really good enough to make it even on the state team. She's going to be in love with him, they're going to get married or whatever, and the rest of her life's going to suck because she's going to wish it was more like high school, where she could write a shitty paper and people actually repost it. So, I'm sorry to say I give this paper an F-. I know that grade doesn't exist yet. I'm making it up. This is a very, very poor paper. Essay. What have you. So, if you have any intelligence whatsoever to recognize that this is a piece of shit story, let me know about it. Let me see your response to this essay. And, as always, this is and has always been an Earn Money production.